Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name's Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, I thought I would bring you along and show you kind of some of the things that we've been working on, and bring you along and show you kind of the morning chores, because a lot has changed since the last time that I brought you along for the morning chores, and kind of show you what I'm doing in like a typical morning. The first thing that I usually like to do is I come over here to my handy dandy new greenhouse, which I love, and check on all of these little starts. These are all tomatoes and peppers. I think they ended up with 220, somewhere around there, plus the ones that my husband repotted last night that were a little bit far gone. They had some aphid damage, and we wanted to take a little extra time to clean them up really well so it wouldn't hopefully infest the rest of them. So probably about 250 tomato starts, probably about 50 pepper starts. And then we have the onions under here, which hopefully will be transplanted this weekend. And then we have all of our cold stuff inside underneath the grow lights. So we need to build the second one of these. We bought the supplies to make 2 of these just because we didn't have the space or the permanent place at the moment to build a 16-foot one. So we just built 2. We're just going to build 2 of the 8-foot ones. So I just wanted to show you this. I'm super stoked. I'm still going to build a second bench to go on this side. But for now, this is what we have in here. And I just have it heated with this through the night, just kind of while it's kind of cold last night. And then tonight again, it's supposed to dip down to like 33. And I have these tomatoes out here, and this heater seems to be doing just fine to keep them pretty warm. At least warm enough that we're just fine. Next, you get to see how much of the crazy chicken lady I have become. I'm embarrassed and proud at the same time. What we have first here are these guys that are just getting ready to move up their cage. These are, there's 6 dominant copper Morans, 6 color packs, 6 Americanas, 6 French cocoa Morans, and then Starlight green eggers. And I think that's it in this one. And then a week younger, these guys over here, there are lavender Orpingtons. I think there's 9 lavender Orpingtons because I bought 10 and 1 died. And then there are, oh wait, I forgot. There's also 6 of the sapphire gems in here. And then there are 6 Nova Gens, 9 lavender Orpingtons, 6 olive eggers, 6 Easter eggers, and or Americanas. They call them both at the store. And then there are 7 blue lace Wyandottes. And I think that's it for this one. These ones are fine for now in this one. And then in here, we have 20 Cornish cross in here. Now these ones are going to be in this container for a very short period of time because they're going to grow real quick. And then over here are the newest little guys. This is 6 blue copper Morans, 6 blue Wyandottes, not the blue lace red Wyandottes that are in the other one, but just the straight blue Wyandottes, and then 6 Pendisenka. I have no idea to pronounce those. So the blue laced Wyandottes are supposed to have like a cream colored egg, and then the other 2 are supposed to have like a really dark brown copperish colored egg. Can you see all the guys? See? I am the crazy chicken lady. There's a lot of chickens in there. So anyways, and there's more coming next week. But that's totally beside the point. But what I do every morning is I kind of just come in here and I check on them. I check to make sure that their water's nice and clean. I make sure their bedding's not too nasty, which is fine because I redid it late last night, right before I turned the light off. I'm gonna dump and fill up their waters, and I'm going to kind of blow off all the excess like wood chips and things that have gotten into their food, and I'm gonna top that off with food or and or the chick grit. These guys have not switched over to fermented feed. I'm planning on switching this guys over next week or tomorrow, and then these guys over next week. I don't know why I just do that lately. I've just had, not lately, but in general, I just start them out on the regular dry feed and then I switch them over to fermented feed at some point. I'm planning on probably just doing fermented feed the whole time. I don't know why. Like, I have no reason for it whatsoever. It just is the way that it happened. I think it's probably trying to keep, because the fermented feed, when you feed them in the troughs, or really any kind of feed, and when you have the pine shavings and things, it just catches the pine shavings, and so then it gets packed in there, and it's really hard to get them to eat it when they're in there with the pine shavings. I think that's probably my main reason why I've started to do it that way. I don't know. So, water time. Oh, and then also another thing that I've found to be very helpful, I can't remember if I showed it to you earlier, but I just have these, it should be wider, but I just have like I did have a smaller feeder in here, so that's why I have this, but it kind of just helps keep the pine shavings out of the water a little bit. And then I just found a board and I set the food on top of there. That helps tremendously. And I did the same in both, well, this one I switched up to the higher. When I got my last batch of birds, I had to move up the feeders because I ran out of feeders. So I literally just take this and I dump it in a bucket outside. You can see they're going through a fair amount of feed. This was one day. I had it pretty much full yesterday, so I mean they're starting to get hungry. I just fill up the trough and then I just take like a handful of chick grit. This is what the lovely lady at Coastal told me to do, or told me that she does. That's all you really need to do. Just sprinkle some on top. And I just built this. I just hit myself in the head. I made this with just old pallet board that I had. I had some of the thicker like pieces and then chicken wire. And then just nailed it all together. And then it works great. These ones are definitely getting pretty darn big for their cage, and I'm really excited to get them into a larger container tomorrow. So that's kind of one of my plans for tomorrow, assuming that I don't have to work. Things have been kind of crazy, and so, you know, work schedule's a little bit unpredictable. But I'm hoping to be able to build a second brooder somewhere in the shop over there, one that is much shorter. That is one thing that I learned. 3 feet is way too tall. 2 feet is plenty enough. I watched Maya over at Roots and Refuge build a brooder, and it was only 2 feet tall, and I was like, okay, you know, we could probably get by with just a 2 feet tall one. We were just trying to give them more space, and I think they need more floor space than they do like airspace. So. And I know that, well, a lot of people that I've seen, like, they don't really give their chicks the chick grit until they're a little bit older. And I did that the first batch that I had, the ones that are outside currently, and the meat birds, but that I had before. But I saw somebody say that if you give them the chick grit right away, especially if you're feeding them whole grains like I am, that it can help to prevent pasty butt. And I found that to be true. The first batch had some of them, not a lot, like there was a few that had pasty butt to a very minor degree because we took care of it pretty quickly. But then since I started adding the chick grit from day one, I haven't had any. And so with the water, all I do is I just take the water, fill it up with the hose outside, and then add about 2 tablespoons per gallon of water of apple cider vinegar. So that's all there is to the little guys inside, or little girls inside, girls and girls. So now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to head outside to the big guys. Gals, whatever. We got our fermented foods. And I just filled up their water last night, but I think I'm going to need some more, So you can see a few of the ways that we have amped up security here after the meat bird massacre. One is the obvious one. We have the live electric fence that we keep on. And then we've also secured this much more securely. We put it with a lock. So, I mean, and it's bungee corded on there pretty well. And then we did the same thing on this side. We chained it and locked it. And so far so good. I haven't even seen anything prowling around here, so we'll see how it goes. My goal with this particular area that I have them in is not to build pasture. This is actually going to be a garden space. This is going to be, I want them to clear it. So if I were trying to build the pasture, I'd be moving them every day, but if I'm trying to build the pasture, I'd be moving them every day, but I'm trying to get them to break down the pasture, I guess you'd say. So I'm not moving them every day. I'm moving them probably every 3, maybe even 4 days. It kind of just depends. I probably want to keep them a little bit longer than I did here, because we don't have lawn, we have moss. That's not true. I mean, there's a little bit of lawn, but it's like 90-10. There's pretty much mostly moss around here. And for some reason, they're just not digging in the moss. So I need to figure out some way to encourage them to do that. And I think feeding them on the floor is probably how that is going to happen. And so, yeah. Sure, now you eat. Now you eat. And also one thing I figured out is that I'm feeding them too much food. So that, because I come out here every morning and there's still plenty of feed left in the bowls. And so yeah, I'm feeding them too much. I'm still trying to figure all this out. Hopefully by the next few days I will have figured it out. These ladies want something, and they love scratch. They love it. They eat it. They don't dig for it though. It's so weird. Like, I gotta figure out how to get them to actually like dig in the ground. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, let's get this. Move it, lady. So all I do with this is I just take it and I move it around to the other side. That's pretty much all I do with it. I like to do the old feed. I put it on this side and then I throw down some scratch, hoping to encourage them to scratch around and peck and dig. I don't know if it's working, but that's what I got. Because I do know they like to eat off the ground. I don't know why I don't just feed everything off the ground. I'm sure I will at some point resort to that. Okay, so now they have their food. I have their water, my camera shut off, and I just make sure that the spout is kind of facing downhill. That's about all I like to do with that, just so it doesn't overflow. I want to hang it up, but I haven't figured out a way to hang it up yet. I just turned it on. So we just keep our feed in here. So far, it hasn't been a problem. And this is the feed that we use. All I do is currently, I was doing 10 cups until I realized how much was left over. It's just taken a few days for it to catch up because I do run 3 days behind. So now I'm feeding them 8 cups. Because the 10 was just too much. And so I just dump it in the bucket. And we have a stray barn cat that just kind of showed up and started living under our porch. So I gotta make sure that, and we're fine with that because it's a mouser. So we just let him do that. But I just make sure I'm careful. Close the doors, make sure they can't get to the chickies while they're in there. I don't have like necessarily an exact spot that I fill it up to on the bucket. I should, but I kind of just fill it up a bit to about a certain spot. So you can see I have each of the buckets and the lids are numbered. So today is 2, so I know that this one needs to be 3. It needs to be on top. And it's light enough at the moment that I can just do that. And then I just take the lid off this one, stir it up to make sure it's good. And and I won't have any surprises tomorrow. Like no funky stuff, which this is good. So there we go. Chores done. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you next time for more stuff on the homestead.